Let me tell you about Sarah. She was the nicest person in her office, always saying yes, always helping others, always putting everyone else first. Her coworkers loved her. Her boss relied on her. She never complained, never said no, never set boundaries. Then, one day, Sarah had a complete breakdown in the parking lot. She sat in her car, sobbing uncontrollably, unable to go into work. The doctor's diagnosis? Severe burnout and anxiety. Here's the twist. Sarah wasn't broken because people treated her badly. She was broken because she was too kind. And today, I'm going to show you why excessive kindness might be destroying your life and what you can actually do about it. We've all been taught that kindness is a virtue. Be nice, be generous, put others first, don't be selfish. These messages have been hammered into us since childhood. And yes, kindness is important. But here's what nobody tells you. There's a dark side to being too kind. Excessive kindness isn't just about being nice. It's about systematically erasing your own needs, boundaries, and self-respect in the name of pleasing others. And the consequences? They're devastating. In this video, we're going to explore the uncomfortable truth about excessive kindness. We're going to look at why it backfires, how it damages your relationships, your career, your mental health, and your sense of self. More importantly, we're going to talk about what healthy kindness actually looks like and how you can be a good person without sacrificing yourself in the process. If you've ever felt taken advantage of, exhausted from giving, or resentful while still smiling and saying yes, this video is for you. Let's start by understanding what excessive kindness really is. Because here's the thing, it's not actually about kindness at all. The people-pleasing trap. Excessive kindness is rooted in people-pleasing behavior, and people-pleasing isn't about generosity, it's about fear. It's the fear of rejection, the fear of conflict, the fear of being disliked or abandoned. When you're excessively kind, you're not giving from a place of abundance, you're giving from a place of desperation. Think about it. When you say yes to something you don't want to do, are you doing it because you genuinely want to help, or are you doing it because you're terrified of what might happen if you say no? Will they get angry? Will they think less of you? Will they leave? The childhood roots. For many people, excessive kindness starts in childhood. Maybe you grew up in an environment where love was conditional. You learned that being good meant being compliant, quiet, and accommodating. You learned that your needs didn't matter as much as keeping the peace. You learned that the way to earn love was to be useful, to be convenient, to be easy. Or perhaps you grew up with a parent who was emotionally unstable and you became the caretaker. You learned to read the room, to manage other people's emotions, to sacrifice your own needs to keep everyone else happy. That hypervigilance, that constant focus on others, it becomes your default mode. The self-worth connection. Here's the brutal truth. Excessive kindness is often a symptom of low self-worth. When you don't believe you're inherently valuable, you try to earn your value through usefulness. You become the person who's always available, always helpful, always giving. Because if you're not useful, what are you? And that equation in your mind will destroy you. Because it means you can never rest, you can never say no, you can never prioritize yourself. Because to do so would be to lose your value. The validation addiction. Excessive kindness also feeds on external validation. Every time someone says thank you, or you're so nice, or I don't know what I'd do without you, you get a hit of validation. It feels good. It confirms that you matter, that you're worthy, that you're loved. But this creates an addiction cycle. You need more and more validation to feel okay about yourself, so you give more and more. You say yes more often. You do bigger favors. You sacrifice more of yourself. And the cycle continues until you're completely depleted. Now let's talk about the consequences, because excessive kindness doesn't just harm you, it backfires in ways that affect every area of your life. 1. You attract takers. Here's a harsh reality. When you're excessively kind, you become a magnet for takers. Not everyone, of course, but the people who are looking for someone to exploit, they can spot you from a mile away. Takers don't see your kindness as a gift, they see it as an opportunity. They see someone who won't say no, someone who won't set boundaries, someone who will tolerate behavior that others won't, and they will drain you dry. The tragic irony is that while you're bending over backwards for takers, the healthy, reciprocal people in your life often drift away, because healthy people want equal relationships, not one-sided ones. They don't want to feel like they're taking advantage of you, so they pull back, leaving you surrounded by the very people who care about you least. You build resentment. Nobody can give endlessly without resentment building up. It's impossible. And when you're excessively kind, you're constantly giving beyond your capacity, saying yes when you want to say no, sacrificing your own needs for others. At first, you might genuinely want to help, but over time, the resentment grows. You start feeling bitter. You start keeping score. You think, I did all this for them, and they can't even do this one small thing for me. You feel used, unappreciated, taken for granted. But here's the problem. You can't express that resentment because it would contradict your nice persona. So it festers inside you. It poisons your relationships. You smile on the outside while seething on the inside. And eventually, you explode. Or you implode. You lose respect. This is hard to hear, but it's true. People don't respect those who have no boundaries. When you're excessively kind, when you always say yes, when you never stand up for yourself, people lose respect for you. They might like you, they might appreciate what you do for them, but they don't respect you, because respect is earned through self-respect. When you demonstrate that your time, energy, and needs don't matter, others will treat you accordingly. This shows up in subtle ways. People interrupt you more. They dismiss your opinions more easily. They don't consider your needs when making plans. They assume you'll just go along with whatever they want. Your voice becomes background noise. You sabotage your career. In the workplace, excessive kindness is career suicide. When you can't say no, you take on too much work. You become overwhelmed and your quality suffers. You take on tasks that aren't your responsibility, which prevents you from focusing on what matters for your advancement. You don't negotiate for yourself. You don't advocate for raises or promotions because you don't want to seem difficult or demanding. You let others take credit for your work because you don't want to seem boastful. You avoid necessary conflicts and difficult conversations. Meanwhile, you're less qualified, but more assertive colleagues get promoted around you. They have no problem asking for what they want, setting boundaries, or saying no, and they rise while you stay stuck, working harder than everyone else, but getting nowhere. You damage your relationships. Ironically, excessive kindness damages the very relationships you're trying to preserve, because these relationships are built on a false foundation. People don't know the real you. They know the accommodating, agreeable version of you that you present. You can't be truly intimate with someone when you're hiding your needs, your boundaries, your authentic self. Real connection requires honesty, vulnerability, and mutual respect. It requires both people showing up as they are, not as they think they should be. Plus, when you're excessively kind, you rob others of the opportunity to give to you. Healthy relationships are reciprocal. People want to feel needed, useful, and generous too. When you never ask for help, never show vulnerability, never let others support you, you deny them that experience. And finally, you burn out completely. Your body can only run on fumes for so long. The stress of constantly giving, the anxiety of people-pleasing, the exhaustion of ignoring your own needs, it catches up with you. You might develop physical symptoms, chronic fatigue, headaches, digestive issues, immune problems. You might develop mental health issues, depression, anxiety, panic attacks. You might have emotional breakdowns like Sarah from our opening story. And when you burn out, you can't help anyone, not others, not yourself. You've given so much that there's nothing left. So why do so many of us fall into this trap? Because our culture perpetuates myths about kindness that keep us stuck. Myth number 1. Saying no is selfish. We're taught that saying no is selfish, that it makes you a bad person, that you should always be willing to help. But this is nonsense. Saying no is not selfish. It's self-preservation. It's honoring your limits. It's being honest. The truly selfish thing is saying yes when you mean no, then doing a half-hearted job or building resentment. That serves no one. Myth number 2. Your needs don't matter as much as others. Many people operate under the belief that prioritizing their own needs is wrong, especially if someone else has needs too. But this creates a hierarchy where you always come last. Your needs are just as valid and important as anyone else's. Myth number 3. If you're not helping, you're not valuable. This myth ties your worth to your usefulness, but your value as a human being is inherent. You don't have to earn the right to exist, to rest, to have boundaries, or to be loved. You matter simply because you exist. Myth number 4. Boundaries push people away. People fear setting boundaries will damage relationships or push people away. And you know what? It will push some people away. The ones who only valued you for what you could do for them. But healthy people respect boundaries. They appreciate honesty. Setting boundaries actually strengthens healthy relationships. Healthy kindness is honest. True kindness includes honesty. If you can't help someone, you say so. If you're feeling overwhelmed, you communicate that. If someone's behavior is problematic, you address it. Pretending everything is fine when it's not isn't kind. It's dishonest. It prevents real connection and perpetuates dysfunction. Healthy kindness is reciprocal. Healthy kindness exists in relationships where giving and receiving flow both ways. You give, but you also receive. You help others, but you also ask for help. You support, but you allow yourself to be supported. One-sided kindness isn't sustainable. It's not actually a relationship, it's a transaction where only one person benefits. Healthy kindness includes self-compassion. You can't pour from an empty cup. Healthy kindness means being kind to yourself first. It means taking care of your own physical, emotional, and mental health. It means resting when you need to rest, saying no when you need to say no, and prioritizing your well-being. This isn't selfish, it's necessary. You can't be truly kind to others if you're depleted, resentful, and burnt out. Healthy kindness is strategic. Not every request deserves a yes. Healthy kindness means being strategic about where you invest your energy. You prioritize based on your values, your capacity, and the importance of the relationship or cause. You don't have to help everyone with everything. You can choose where your kindness has the most impact. If you recognize yourself in this video, you might be wondering how to change. Here are practical steps to break the cycle of excessive kindness. Step 1. Build self-awareness. Start noticing your patterns. When do you say yes when you want to say no? What triggers your people-pleasing? What fears come up when you think about setting boundaries? Keep a journal for a week. Every time you say yes to something, note whether it was a genuine yes or a fear-based yes. Notice the difference in how each feels in your body. Step 2. Challenge your beliefs. Examine the beliefs underlying your excessive kindness. Where do they come from? Are they actually true? Do they serve you? Write down your beliefs about kindness, selfishness, and worthiness. Then challenge each one. Ask yourself, is this really true? What evidence contradicts this? What would I tell a friend who believed this? Step 3. Start small with boundaries. Don't try to transform overnight. Start with small boundaries in low-stakes situations. Decline an invitation you don't want to accept. Ask someone to stop doing something that bothers you. Say, "Let me think about it," instead of automatically saying yes. Notice that the world doesn't end. Notice that people generally respect boundaries when you set them clearly and kindly. Step 4. Practice saying no. Literally practice. Stand in front of a mirror and say, "No, I can't do that." Say, "No, that doesn't work for me." Say "no thank you" without explanation or apology. Get comfortable with the word. It's a complete sentence. You don't need to justify, explain, or apologize for every no. Step 5. Build your self-worth independent of others. Work on developing self-worth that isn't based on what you do for others. Explore who you are beyond your helpfulness. What do you value? What do you enjoy? What matters to you? Spend time on activities that have nothing to do with helping others. Pursue hobbies, interests, and goals that are purely for your own fulfillment. Step 6. Cultivate reciprocal relationships. Audit your relationships. Which ones are truly reciprocal? Which ones are one-sided? Start investing more energy in the relationships where you feel valued, supported, and respected. With one-sided relationships, start pulling back. See what happens. Do they notice? Do they reach out? Do they invest in return? If not, you have valuable information about the true nature of that relationship. Step 7. Learn to tolerate discomfort. Setting boundaries and saying no will feel uncomfortable at first. You'll feel guilty, you'll worry about people's reactions, you might feel anxious or selfish. This discomfort is normal. It doesn't mean you're doing something wrong, it means you're doing something different. Sit with the discomfort. Remind yourself that your needs matter. The discomfort will decrease with practice. Step 8. Communicate clearly and directly. When you set boundaries or say no, do it clearly and directly. Don't hint, don't soften it so much that it becomes ambiguous. Don't apologize excessively. Instead of, "I'm so sorry, I'd love to help, but I'm just so swamped. Maybe another time. I feel terrible about this." Try, "I don't have capacity for that right now, but I appreciate you thinking of me." Step 9. Prepare for pushback. Some people will push back when you start setting boundaries, especially the takers in your life. They've benefited from your lack of boundaries, and they won't give that up easily. They might guilt-trip you, call you selfish, or act hurt. Stay firm. This is a test. If you cave, you've taught them that pushback works. If you hold your boundary, they'll eventually accept it or move on. Step 7. Seek support. Changing these patterns is hard. Consider working with a therapist, especially one who specializes in people-pleasing, codependency, or boundary setting. Join a support group. Talk to trusted friends who understand what you're working on. You don't have to do this alone. In fact, learning to ask for and accept support is part of breaking the cycle. When you start breaking the excessive kindness pattern, things will shift. Some of these changes will be positive, some will be challenging. Here's what to expect. Some relationships will end. Not everyone will like the new, boundaried version of you. Some people were only in your life because you were useful to them. When you stop being endlessly available, they'll disappear. This is painful, but it's also clarifying. You're making room for better relationships. You're discovering who you actually values as a person, not just as a resource. You'll feel guilty. Even when you're doing the right thing, guilt will show up. This is normal. You're going against years of conditioning. Your brain interprets the change as dangerous. Acknowledge the guilt, but don't let it dictate your actions. Remind yourself that feelings aren't facts. You can feel guilty and still maintain your boundaries. You'll discover your authentic self. As you stop performing and people-pleasing, you'll start discovering who you actually are. What do you like when you're not trying to like what others like? What do you want when you're not defaulting to what others want? This discovery process is exciting, but also disorienting. Be patient with yourself as you figure out your authentic preferences, values, and desires. Your energy will return. Once you stop overgiving, you'll notice you have more energy. You'll feel less resentful, less exhausted, less overwhelmed. You'll have capacity for things that actually matter to you. This increased energy allows you to be kind in more sustainable, meaningful ways, not out of obligation, but out of genuine desire. Better people will enter your life. As you develop boundaries and self-respect, you'll naturally attract different people. Healthy, secure people who respect boundaries and value reciprocity will be drawn to you. These relationships will feel different, easier, more balanced, more authentic. You'll wonder why you tolerated so much less for so long. Let's come back to Sarah from our opening story. After her breakdown, Sarah took a leave from work. She started therapy. She began the hard work of examining why she couldn't say no, why she felt responsible for everyone else's happiness, why she had no boundaries. It wasn't easy. She lost some relationships. She felt guilty constantly. But slowly, things changed. She learned that saying no didn't make her a bad person. She discovered that people actually respected her when she had boundaries. She realized that her worth wasn't determined by her usefulness. Today, Sarah is still a kind person, but her kindness is healthy. It's sustainable. It includes herself. She helps others, but not at her own expense. She gives, but she also receives. She's no longer running on empty. And that's what I want for you, too. Excessive kindness isn't a virtue. It's a prison. It traps you in patterns of people-pleasing, self-sacrifice, and resentment. It damages your relationships, your career, your health, and your sense of self. But you can break free. You can learn to be kind in healthy ways. You can set boundaries, honor your needs, and show up authentically. You can build relationships based on mutual respect rather than one-sided giving. It won't be easy. Change never is, but it's worth it. Because on the other side of excessive kindness is something better. A life where you matter, where your needs count, where you're valued for who you are, not just what you do. You deserve that life. And the journey towards it starts with one small boundary, one honest no, one moment of choosing yourself. Remember, being kind doesn't require you to be a doormat. True kindness includes kindness to yourself. Now it's your turn. Take that first step. Set that first boundary. Say that first no. Your future self will thank you. If this video resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. And drop a comment below. What's one boundary you're going to set this week? Let's support each other in this journey. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.